16-year-old Raina Ryson of LaPorte, Indiana, was murdered 32 years ago. She was last seen alive March 26, 1993, at her after-school job at an animal hospital. Her body was found a month later near a pond north of US 20 in LaPorte. Her death was listed as strangulation. Her ex-boyfriend, Jason Tibbs, was convicted, and in 2014, he was sentenced to 40 years in prison. An investigative journalist says Tibbs is innocent. He says the evidence points to someone else. He's reviewed thousands of documents for his book, Submerged, a Cold Case, an innocent man condemned and one family's darkest secret. Author Hillel Levin is here this morning. Good morning.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us
Thanks
this
for
morning.
having me.
Initially, somebody else was the suspect. It was her brother-in-law,
Yes.
Ray McCarty. What happened there?
Well, he had molested her when she was 13. She told the police. He threatened to kill her if she told anyone. He did not go to prison, but had to go through sex offender therapy, which he rejected.
Yeah.
And then when she was 16, he started molesting her again. And when it appeared that she was taking pregnancy tests, she was soon after abducted and murdered. So all of that fit that he was a likely suspect, but there were some big holes in that prosecution that, believe it or not, all these years later, I was able to solve.
Yeah, why did they let him off the hook? It sounded like they were getting pressure from McCarty's family, which you would think would be irrelevant.
Okay, the family always defended him,
Yeah.
primarily because his wife dominated that family. But the other issue was a prosecutor who dropped the charges, kind of had a vendetta against his predecessor who brought the charges. Unfortunately, it was politics. But there were a couple of questions that they never solved. One was how she died. They never, the strangulation was process of elimination. Believe it or not, because I'd written about a serial killer in my previous book, it immediately jumped out to me how she died, and then I was able to tie that to Ray McCarty.
So it's one thing to say small-town politics got in the way of derailing this case, but you still have to come up with another suspect and evidence against that suspect, and this is the person behind bars, her ex-boyfriend, Jason Tibbs. So what's the evidence on him?
Middle school boyfriend, he wrote a love letter. That was the only physical evidence, but like a lot of wrongful convictions, it was a jailhouse snitch looking to reduce his sentence, came up with this totally outlandish story, but there was a lot of police misconduct and prosecutorial misconduct behind it. The other issue that people don't realize with cold cases is Jason, back at the time of the crime, he had all these alibi witnesses, and that's what cleared him. 20 years later, they testify in court. Do you remember what happened Friday night at 6 o'clock 21 years ago? People honestly said, I really don't remember, and the judge would not allow them to look at the police reports with what they said at the time of the crime.
It sounds like there's misconduct not just on behalf of the prosecution, but also maybe even the judge. Is there any outside force, other than yourself, of course, who's stepping in and saying, wait a minute, this is ridiculous?
Unfortunately, no, not yet. Notre Dame has an exoneration justice clinic. I'm told by some of the people in the book that they've been talking to them. So hopefully they can take Jason's next appeal. Another part of his story is he had some really bad lawyers, and unfortunately, justice in America is based on how good your lawyer is in court.
Yeah, so your investigation shows it is the original suspect all along,
Absolutely.
McCarty, and where is he?
Yeah, McCarty, the trouble is when you have a wrongful conviction, a dangerous person goes free. He nearly killed another in-law. And when he was in jail for that crime, he committed suicide.
Wow, he committed suicide. Is there anybody other than yourself fighting for Raina Ryson?
Well, I think people in LaPorte are shocked by the book. Unfortunately, some of the reporters who covered the story, it's like they don't want to know about this. And, you know, Jason Tibbs has become this monster in these cold case podcasts. He is most concerned at this point in clearing his name.
What about the original prosecutor who believed McCarty did it? I know the guy who overturned it is no longer alive, but what is she? I would think she would be an advocate for your
She
case.
was really not the greatest politician, but believe it or not, the deputy prosecuting attorney who brought Ray to the grand jury is now representing Jason Tibbs.
Yeah. So what would have to happen now for Jason Tibbs to let out of prison?
He had, again, a poor lawyer who handled his first appeal for ineffective counsel, which should have been a slam dunk. But now it's based on new evidence. And I hope some of what I've uncovered, which includes some DNA evidence, will be used to help get him that second PCR post-conviction relief.
What's the DNA evidence?
The DNA evidence ties the accomplice. That was the other hole.
Yeah.
Originally, they never figured out who the accomplice was. I found it sitting in the police files. I tracked it, and I do believe this unidentified male DNA that's sitting on the state police lab shelf is going to tie him to the crime, and will tie McCarty to the crime through him as well.
Are Indiana State Police enthusiastic about doing that?
Unfortunately, not yet. No, it's going to take a second appeal. But people in LaPorte are outraged. They've organized an event for me this Saturday at the LaPorte Yacht Club at 4 p.m. They want to hear about the new evidence I've uncovered. So I think people are really taking a second look, and that's very important to Jason at this point.
It's a very complicated and fascinating story. If you'd like to hear more, you can hear Hillel Levin speak at the LaPorte Yacht Club. It's over there in Indiana, April 19th, 4 p.m. You can find more about the book at submergedtruecrime.com and on his socials. Always good to have you on the show.
Hey,
thank you.
thank
Good
you.
to see you.